talk a lot about something, I don't know what, because I just came running in and I'm running late. This is Will Cain Country. It is Will Cain Country, streaming live at the Will Cain Country YouTube channel, the Will Cain Facebook page. But always here, all you have to do is hit follow on Spotify or on Apple. All right, bring everybody up, Justin. Let me see Pat. Let me see Wade. Justin, can you bring yourself up in the whole grand scheme of things? I don't think you can. Just talk, Justin. Okay. How stressed are you, Justin? 1 to 10 scale. Now it's when you talk, Justin.
Oh, I hit the wrong fader. Yeah,
scale?
You could hear me now, right?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
We got this.
Yeah, and so how stressed are you, Justin, on a 1 to 10 scale?
Well, I'd like it when my host shows up on time, but what can you ask for, right?
So this rarely happens. Wait, I've walked in with the music playing before, and Dan gets stressed. Today, I was on a phone call, and I was really into the phone call. I was talking about this, I was talking about that, and boom, boom, boom. And Ellie came into my office. She's like, it's time. And I was like, oh, it must be like, 57. And I looked at the clock. It's like, no, you're 20 seconds into the show. Go. Like I ran in here as fast as I could, and I thought, oh, poor Justin. He doesn't. Second day filling in for Dan. This has got to be a real roller coaster, like the background for Tinfoil Pat today. By the way, we are hanging out with the host of The Wade Show. With Wade, it is Wade Stotts. What's up, Wade?
It's a pleasure to be here. So thankful for it. I did hear that your fawning interview with Hunter Biden fell through, so I'm happy to be the replacement guest on this lovely Tuesday morning.
That little comment in and of itself. I've been thinking a lot about you recently, Wade, and I need to talk to you, talk with you. Okay, what's Hunter Biden doing, Wade? Why is he? I saw somebody pose this question, and I hadn't stepped back. I hadn't stepped back and thought about it. I hadn't stopped back and thought, what is Hunter Biden doing? Why is he appearing on Tucker? Why is he appearing on Candace? Why is he appearing on Pod Save America? Why is Hunter Biden doing a media tour?
I don't know. I mean, he doesn't have a book to promote. The only thing I can think of is that he's just kind of trying to salvage his reputation, but see if he can. These are like the kind of people who are just pure opportunists, and so they see a little opening. And like my guess is that like in a rational world, him going on a right-wing podcast or such and such, sort of right-wing podcast tour doesn't make a lot of sense. But I think that it's really difficult when your job is entertainment to turn down that kind of guest, mainly because it's Jerry Springer, but the issue is that if you want to turn it into, I would rather watch a Jerry Springer style interview with Hunter Biden. I'd rather watch a hostile go at each other sort of thing. But all of these, I think he knows that for some reason every person that he says yes to is just going to sit there and listen and go yes, wow, so interesting, Mr. Biden. And not push back. I think that's been even more bizarre than just watching him do podcasts, is watching the hosts sort of listen politely.
Well, that's worthy of its own psychoanalysis. I get what you're saying. I pick up what you're putting down. I did see clips. I'm gonna be honest. Like everybody else in the entire world, our digestion of these things is clips that we see. I saw him with Nick Fuentes, and he and Fuentes were going back and forth, but it still was pretty congenial, which I get actually. I think honestly, Wade, I think if Hunter came in with an interview with me, I would try to be friendly. I think I would be pretty damn aggressive in pushing it. The contention that he didn't drop off the laptop. I mean, what was the guy's name? John McIsaac. John McIsaac.
Yeah,
I've interviewed him.
Yeah.
John Paul
several
McIsaac.
times. John, thanks, Patrick. See, that's what you're here for. That's actually good production, not random sexual innuendos, but on the fly fact checks.
Be good too. So, working on that.
What's wrong with my audio?
We can't hear you on YouTube.
What's wrong with my audio?
Apparently. So I'm
That's
telling
not
you
good.
this. Yeah.
Justin says we're good.
Oh, we're good. Okay.
Is the
Great.
chat mad?
The chat was mad. They were angry. I was getting texts from Casey Smith and all kinds of people. So.
Well, Casey
I
just
think we're
listening on a random Tuesday. What's up, Casey? Casey Smith from Barstool watching along with the rest of America. I think I would be friendly, Wade. I do, but I think I would be aggressive. I would think I'd say I've interviewed these dudes. I know you dropped off the laptop. There's validation, evidence on the laptop that it was your laptop, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, it's all over the place, the opportunity to push back. The Fuentes Hunter conversation was more philosophical, ideological, like going back and forth, not on facts of a previous scandal, but on viewpoints when it comes to how you do media, and I think they had a big race conversation and so forth. But I think I would have been friendly.
Yeah, I think that's being a good host. I also
not like you with Lindy Lee, not like how you did Lindy Lee on the Will Cain show.
I was having fun, but anyway, I think.
Do we have that clip?
Man,
You can't.
Wade.
We can't do that.
Wade
We'll have to do
comes
it next
out.
time. Yeah.
Why? Because we can't pull it up on the fly.
Probably not. I want to keep it simple. Okay. Poor Justin.
What did you call her,
yes,
Wade? A grifter?
Oh, I think that was the sort of subtext of everything I was saying. Yeah, no, it was a fun time. I think it was one of the fun parts about that segment was it was about leftists flip flopping. That was the topic of the segment, and I was like, all right, this is gonna be fun. Right. if I just sort of didn't acknowledge the elephant in the room, then I figured I would go against my own conscience. But we all have our consciences to answer to.
But I think you would have been friendly to Hunter Biden as well.
Sure, yeah. I think being friendly and also just like holding him to a point. I think that's just the issue. I mean, one of the chief examples on Fox News was Brett Baer's interview with Kamala Harris during the 2024 election cycle. I thought that was a masterclass in just being not overly hostile, but also just holding somebody to a point. I would, I don't know how I would act, but I know that Brett Baer is a much better person than I am.
I also think that, so I would like to think, and I know I'm patting myself on the back here, I do a decent approximation of that on Fox News. I think that the criticism that I get from the audience, the most common criticism, not is I wasn't mean enough, I'm not mean enough, but for me, to be honest, the only reason that I would even come off as slightly mean in these situations, now I'm going to hold you to a point and I'm going to debate you, is time. Time is such a horrific element of because one of the tools that people will use is filibuster. Or Abdul El-Sayed, he comes on my show, I ask him a question, he uses the question to pivot away into something else. He does it everywhere. It wasn't just with me. It's his common technique. And then you have to interrupt to be like, no. And the main reason you have to interrupt is because they're running out the clock on you. Everyone knows there's a clock in cable news. And at most, it's a 5-minute clock. I mean, I think I gave Tallarico 10 minutes. But most cable news is in the 3 to 5 range. And that's a pretty easy clock to run out for anyone who's done TV a handful of times. So then you have to interrupt and you get into the mean phase. If you're in a podcast environment, no clock. So I would let him go. I'd let Sayed go. I'd let Hunter go and then rebut. You know what I mean? And then address.
Right. Yeah, and the great thing about that would be if somebody listened to the whole thing. The trouble is that even on podcast world, people are trying to look for clips. And so no matter what you said afterwards, the big thing from that on the left would be the clip of, Abdul El-Sayed cooks Fox News host, no matter what you said afterwards or whatever. And on the right, it would be Will Cain holds Saeed's feet to the fire because they would choose the other clip. But yeah, I definitely prefer the more long form thing because it does force people to show themselves. And after an hour of somebody trying to run out the clock, you can start to tell, and it gets a little tiring. But with somebody who's, again, just showing who they are, that if who you are is running out the clock, then you're officially sort of an elite politician that I don't want to listen to.
Hey, speaking of Abdul El-Sayed, Abdul El-Sayed claimed toxic masculinity is at the heart of American football, an old blog post. So it was a blog post, Patrick, but it was also he must have done it on a pod, right? Because we have audio.
I don't believe so.
We don't have it. I heard it. I heard the audio. Yeah.
Oh.
Where he says the whole culture of trying to get past an injury and grind through it and all that, it's toxically masculine. This dude, what's increasingly clear is this guy was pretty down the fairway, run of the mill, Wade, woke 1.0.
Yeah, I think that absolutely makes sense. And everybody, no matter what you believe in your heart, I think that we saw the comment with like AOC trying to walk back some kind of comments that she made from this time. No matter what you believe in your heart, a lot of these people were just sort of looking for an ideological dress up for, I would like people to pay attention to me. And in 2020, 2021, that was the way to get people to pay attention to you and to signal, I am a good, decent, moral person. I'm with the winners. I'm on my way up. And that was what people did at the time. And people are having to recalculate a little bit because it isn't exactly obvious that the abolish the police and everything is toxically masculine. Everything that people love about America, your hobbies, the things you watch on television, are all saying, deeply unsettling things about the nature of America. So now we have people pivoting, trying to hide those things. But these comments are still out there. It's the blessing of the internet as well as the curse.
Well, Francesca Hong, who's running for governor of Wisconsin, she's one of the best at. I don't actually know if she was in the fairway. She might have been playing a little bit from the rough. She was going for some real zingers. She was going after Thanksgiving and Christmas and everything else. Regular woke probably hadn't gone quite that far, so she was out there pushing the envelope. And she has an explanation for why she was pushing the envelope. We do have this sound. Here is the governor candidate for Wisconsin. By the way, voting is today in the primary. Here's why she was out there so on the edge of woke.
I was actually trying to become a sports journalist when I first went to college. So I learned then you have some hot takes, sometimes bad takes on Twitter. And I let my feelings out into the world.
So people point out, this is my favorite framing of that. The path from sports journalism to communism is well worn. Not a unique path.
Oh man, yeah, I was trying to be a sports journalist, so I made fun of Thanksgiving, like big football holiday, the thing that's like they're very much tied to American sports. Yeah, having hot takes in 2020, people will try to justify whatever they said at a particular time, but that is that's a wild stretch. If you want to make your way in sports journalism, maybe sucking up to people who love Thanksgiving and Christmas might be a good way to do it.
Okay, I want to talk a little bit more in depth here about this woke 1.0 thing. Okay, yesterday we played the sound of AOC laughing it off. Let's do this together. Patrick, Wade, myself, Justin, you can jump in if we forget something. Could we create, first of all, what is the time period of woke 1.0 as framed by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez? When did it start? Did it start in 2015, 16? And when did it purportedly end? Like what, 2024? Is it almost a 10-year period, a 9-year period? What is woke 1.0?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say that there was a kind of ramp up to it with sort of BLM happening, and so that was I think these kind of rivers that fed into a lot of it. And then I think that by the time 2020 rolls around, you have a sort of everybody felt like, okay, 2020 was the final, okay, now the door is closing on anything except woke. I think that woke was something that kind of was bubbling, making sort of happening on its own. And then everybody felt like woke had a monopoly. So like woke was a thing, and then it sort of claimed every piece of territory. I think that's about 2020. And then, I mean, I would be interested to know, like, if people are thinking of woke one and then woke two, then like, what does AOC think was wrong? What was or was crazy? What was crazy about this time? That's the thing that I would like somebody to hold her to is,
right.
like, what were the
what do you
specific
disavow?
excesses? Yeah. What do you disavow? Where are we headed now? And how do we know that this isn't just another time where you're saying things just because that's what you're supposed to say at this time?
Yeah.
Well, I've seen somebody say
the
the difference between woke one and woke two is that you replaced black people with Islam. Woke two has replaced black people as the centered part of wokeism to Islam as the centered part of wokeism. I've also seen, for example, Ben Shapiro say woke one was race as a conduit into things like socialism, communism, anti-capitalism, anti-colonialism. Woke two does away with that as the driver and says communism is the main focus, and then we reverse back into so it's like looking at it from one end of the lens versus the other. Do you see what I'm saying? Where woke one brought you through the door of race, it took you down the path to, socialist thinking, 1619 Project, on and on. Woke two is just looking through the same, telescope, but through the other lens, starting with communism and looking back the other way.
Yeah, I would say that woke one itself is mainly framing everything in terms of American moral problems. So problems that were, slavery, Jim Crow, that sort of thing. Things that, accusations against the American people, against other people who were like also Americans, and what are we going to do with that? How do we deal with past things that America did to other people here? I think that the characterization of what's happening now is a broader anti-colonial, anti-American, foreign sort of focus. So you've got like woke one dealing with like, hey, you Americans, the American government treated other Americans poorly. Those things need to be addressed. Land acknowledgments for the Native Americans. Let's talk about Jim Crow, et cetera. Now we're moving into international sort of anti-Americanism. And I think that that's partly a result of the rapid importation of a ton of people who don't have the Jim Crow complaints. They don't have the land acknowledgement type complaints about America, but have the colonial or complaints about America. And I think that is kind of an inevitable. I think it's that the thread that's through it is this resentment for past wrongs, taking advantage of that resentment. But as it goes from the complaints are national to the complaints are international, I think that's where I see the progression going.
So it's really interesting because like the Abdul El-Sayeds, they can't go and complain about slavery, but they love complaining about America in general. And so like they're still harping on all these same ideas, but it's like from a different perspective because they don't have the same roots here that other people do. It's all about
and
roots.
Patrick, the woke one, Saeed fails with the black voter. So did Mamdani.
Yeah.
Like fails. So it's like, I mean, she's buffoonish, but Jasmine Crockett is woke 1.0, and Saeed and Mamdani are woke 2.0.
Right.
And woke 1.0, at least to some extent, is not accepting woke 2.0. It's acknowledging we've made a turn. You know who's an interesting figure in all this is Tallarico. What is he?
He's 1.0.
You think he's woke 1.0?
Yeah, for sure. I don't know if he's made the change to the Islamic stuff and the communist.
But his attacks on Christianity, his reimagining of Christianity, there's something about that reads definitely very woke 2.0-ish to me.
I think also he's trying to appeal to the Democrat establishment. So I'd say that a lot of folks who are in the either woke 1 or woke 2, both of them were kind of on the edge of the Democrat Party establishment. I think Tallarico's trying to integrate all of those things into I'm just a regular old Texan fella, check me out, and then make it something that everybody can kind of swallow at once. And yes, so since he is going for a position in Texas, he's going to figure out where the resentments are there. So he's going to present very differently to one crowd as from another. but it is trying to. I think Tallarico. I don't think he's an actually powerful figure, but I think he's trying to be the guy who just sort of gathers everybody's resentments under one tent, which is probably a very woke one strategy.
So I remember when I was on ESPN when woke first came around, like the actual word woke. And I'm going to say that was like 18, 19. And do you guys remember in the beginning, it was super serious. Like it was a word that everyone took seriously, right? Not everyone, the proponents of it. And you couldn't mock it. In the beginning, you couldn't mock it, but it got totally co-opted and turned into a pejorative. Do you see what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm going to say that was 18, 19, but that's not the beginning of woke 1.0. I would say whether or not it was named, it had started before that. And so what I was going to say and bring everybody in on this is what got questioned or destroyed? What got called into the principal's office? What got torn down under the banner of woke 1.0? Because it's vast. So when AOC laughs it off and says, oh, we got kind of crazy, to your point, Wade, what are we talking about? Are we talking about tearing down historical American statues? Are we talking about questioning Thomas Jefferson and George Washington? Are we re-examining the Star-Spangled Banner? Are we taking down Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben? Is it the 1619 Project? Is it Me Too? Is it every accusation and believe all women? Is it mask wearing and COVID vaccines? Is it stay at home and maintain 6 feet of distance? It ended up being all of these things, did it not? And more. That's my point. The exhaustive list, I don't think I've even gotten to half of it yet.
I think there's definitely a struggle in the party for what the identity of the post-Biden Democrat Party is. And so the excesses of that time, or how the people think of the excesses of that time, we were going down the right path. We went a little too far, too fast. I think that those things are just trying to differentiate themselves from Biden. So old man Biden, the powerful thing in the 2020 and 2024 election, the 2024 election cycle especially, was you've got this combination of Biden incompetent, who is he can't speak, and then you've got also but the people who are really running things are the radicals, the people who want to tear down the police departments of every city in America. So that combination of two things, you've got a puppet, and then you've got the puppet masters, who are the people who actually are just trying to destroy America, plain and simple. And then you've got this strong MAGA thing. So afterward, after Biden doesn't exist as a political figure anymore, maybe his son does now, then you've got just the puppet masters, just the people who are sort of signing everything, the abolish the police people. And so those people are now in the spotlight. Whereas before they could hide behind Biden, we're the normal people, we're the old school Democrats. Just look at our president, his name is Joe Biden. So once those people are seen that they are actually trying to run the party, then they have to scatter and sort of hide. So if at the time abolish the police was a slogan that people said to make themselves seem normal or seem moral, then I think that what's happening now, the pivot is just the same thing. It's just playing moral. I'm a moral. I'm not one of those crazy ones. I said that in the past, but that was just to appeal to the broad morality. I think it really is just like people trying to find the consensus and then adjusting to that consensus. It was then and it is now.
But who creates the consensus?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of people guessing. So if you hear a bunch of people saying something, then you start to join in, and it's hard to really know what power that has outside of your immediate social circle, and as it gets rewarded by media. So if I say insane things in 2020 or 2022 or 2023 about these things, then my pivot is going to be, or whether I say that is going to be based on whether it's rewarded. And so, yes, it's rewarded by, I get to say that on the media. I get to write articles about that. The tweets that I write about that get rewarded. Now that is out of vogue. And so I think the consensus is sort of just made by people, everybody guessing at what's going to be rewarded. And for a while it is, and then suddenly electoral defeats start to change what is thought of as acceptable. The Overton window shifts a little bit. So they can still hold these beliefs privately, but they can't say them out loud.
Yeah, but the reason I ask who makes the consensus, because therefore then therein lies the power. That's who we're trying to figure out, who drives this initial insanity. In case you're not wondering, you're watching on YouTube or Facebook Will Cain Country. It's on your screen right now. You can't see us talking. Just a few technical difficulties here as we work through this. I need you to get that back up, Justin, so I can show you this next element, which is Hasan Piker. Hasan Piker has received a glowing profile in Rolling Stone. In this profile, there's pictures of Hasan Piker. He's standing in the backyard. I don't know. Can we get our screen back up? I'll have to wait. I'll have to wait to do this if I can't. All right, we'll just have to wait on that. Since you can't see me, this is a visual part of our program. Does this make us officially, Patrick, live streamers, where just everything just goes?
Yeah, this is
however it
we
goes.
are Hasan Piker. Now, yeah.
There we go.
All right, well, here, let's go over to the Willisha. Black Op Ed Mercy Gaming. No, Black Op Mercy Gaming. There we go. That's the handle. Writes, I think this is on YouTube. Sometimes I wonder if people like Cain even possess the level of self-awareness required to feel shame or embarrassment about being so unabashedly mentally ill-equipped to speak on politics. He can't not understand even the most basic realities that surround him. I wonder if he realizes that DSA people and other socialists laugh and celebrate when they have the opportunity to go on his Fox show because he is so unbelievably stupid that each segment comes off as one of the best ads for the DSA imaginable. Wow. One of us is lacking in self-awareness. That is true. That is true. One of us is lacking in self-awareness. Interesting. So set aside my stupidity and my lack of self-awareness. Mm-hmm. The DSA coming on my show serves as one of the best ads for the DSA that can be imagined. Well, when I approach one of these interviews with the Democratic Socialist of America, my goal is to allow them to lay out their thoughts. I want to hear it. I want to hear it plain. I want to hear it open. And by the way, only with a little bit of pushback, because to me, the biggest indictment imaginable is just hearing themselves talk over and over. And if you think that's an ad, well, maybe you're right. Maybe America's with you. Maybe Abdul El-Sayed won the Democratic primary. Let's see if you win some general elections. Wade?
Yeah, it is a good question of strategy generally. I mean, you've made your decision as to how you'd like to, whether you'd like to show these people talking. And I think that your audience, it does help for the audience of the Will Cain Show and of Will Cain Country to see to see these people talking the way that they want to talk, the way that they're trying to sell things, and to show that you are not just inventing this sort of boogeyman. That is always that's the temptation when you're not talking to these people and when they're not on your show is for the audience to just assume, oh, maybe Will is sort of exaggerating all these points. But when people can talk, then yes, they are. You can hold their feet to the fire, but you can also show your audience, like, we're not making up the threat. This is not an invention of the news.
We're back.
Go ahead, Patrick.
Oh, we're back. Just saying. I think.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Well, just in time to bring in this comment then from Rose Milgies. The Will Cain Country Show is hands down my favorite podcast. I don't often get to watch live, but when I do see it, I love it. The banter is hilarious. Well, thank you, Rose. You didn't get to see us there for a little while, but we're back. We're back.
We saw the banter, though.
You could hear the banter, but you could not see us. But now you can see us, which brings me to this. So here is, as I mentioned, Hasan Piker in Rolling Stone. So, hey, okay, so Black Op Gaming Mystery Box DSA anti-fascist. To the point of one of us lacking self-awareness. I appreciate that potentiality. By the way, for the record, I do consider that one of my major prisms through which I view life. Who is and who is not self-aware. I like to think I'm highly self-aware. I like to make fun of myself when I'm wrong. I like to think I know when I'm making a social faux pas, when I walk the world. Do I always accomplish it? I'm sure not. But if you want to have a self-awareness Olympics, I think I'm game. Let's play. But if you think the DSA is slaughtering me on a day-to-day basis on the Fox News show and it's serving as the best ad, maybe, potentially, possibly, it's you who are lacking in self-awareness. I don't know. We'll see. But I would offer this as a piece of evidence when it comes to DSA propagandists and their self-awareness. As part of this Rolling Stone profile, here is Hasan Piker in his backyard. The backyard, even if it's not his backyard, I don't even know if this is his backyard. If it isn't, well, then this is still where he chose to do his photo shoot for Rolling Stone. He's standing at a pool. It looks like, could be grass, I don't know, turf. Is that a golden retriever? No, that's like a chow. That's what that is, right?
Dog.
With the curly tail.
He's shocked.
The dog that he shocked was little, I thought, Patrick. That's a big dog.
No, this is the dog.
Okay.
It's that size.
It's one of those northeastern, would you call that like almost a Nantucket style pool where the grass goes almost all the way to the pool? It's very nice. Very nice. And he's standing there in a gray suit, huge ivy wall in the background. Looks like, I don't know, Nantucket or Miami, probably Miami, I think that's where he lives. And he's standing on the barrier between the hot tub and the pool. It's very, 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 very chic. Gina Milan says, the loudest socialists always seem to be living the most comfortable capitalist lives. To that, Hasan Piker responded on X, I'd rather be successful and advocate for the poor than be a broke Trump booster advocating for the rich. Something here, Wade, to me, is everything. This is everything. This is the game. This is the whole ball of wax. This is the kit and caboodle. This is self-awareness.
Yeah, well, and the issue is that these are people, again, who just do not believe in anything. Yet people are going like, well, if you really held to your principles, then you would be living this way. It's like he doesn't care about principles. He just cares about self-advancement. And so, like, yes, if he were to actually like take a vow of poverty and live in some kind of secularist abbey, then like maybe people wouldn't even know his name. But that's the issue. He wants people to know his name. He wants people to look at him, and he wants people to think that he's successful. Like, hey, if you're a socialist, you can be as successful as I am. It doesn't all of the ideology is just a vehicle to get to. I get to be comfortable, and people get to look at my face.
And I'm better off than you. I am going to get rich off my socialism. It's the story of history throughout. The communist czars in the Soviet Union didn't live like the proletariat. They never do. They didn't wait in the bread lines. They weren't rationed their caviar. They got that stuff. The proletariat are the one that had to live the lives that they promised, that the socialists promised to deliver. This is the way it always works. It always ends up this way. And by the way, as grotesque as the lack of self-awareness is, or one could argue the brazen hypocrisy of it is, the equally gross part is the view of the dumb Trump booster advocating for the rich. That being your view of your political opponent. And if self-awareness is at all connected to a perception of reality, get out there and get outside your bubble and see reality. Because the Trump booster, whoever that may be, or the everyman on the street or the commentariat, it isn't to advocate for the rich. It's because they see the path that allows them the potential, not the promise, but the potential to be rich. Or forget rich. To be well off. Forget well off. To be purpose driven. Forget purpose driven. To be happy. To live the life that they envision. That's what it is. On their own merits. Whereas the other says, I will take from X to give to Y. You are Y. Along the way, while I'm taking from X to give to Y, I'm going to skim a little off the top, and I'm going to get a little more than you, Y. Maybe a lot more. Maybe a pool in Miami.
I think that his criticism would make a lot more sense of the maybe pre-Trump GOP. I think that because MAGA itself is very much a populist movement and is appealing to the idea that, yes, you've been left behind. A lot of the policies from both parties have moved manufacturing overseas. You've seen your cities collapse. You've seen your towns collapse. Factories are closing. Like, jobs are moving away. And like, it's appealing to, again, this populist sentiment that, hey, things aren't, even those who are doing their best are having a harder time than they should. That's part of the message of Make America Great Again. It's not just Make America Great Again for the big tech billionaires. It's Make America Great Again for the average guy who just wants to have a decent job, be able to afford a house to put his kids in. That's the MAGA message. And so maybe that wasn't the message of the pre-Trump GOP. But the current state of the GOP being a populist movement, it's populist movement versus populist movement. And really what it is just a matter of trying to figure out, so he's not addressing the actual Trump world. He may be sort of repeating a kind of Jon Stewart era criticism of the way the GOP works. But yes, the self-awareness definitely out the window for him. But the people who are the most self-involved tend to be the people who are the least self-aware.
Again, over the list, Suzanne Nico offers up 2 questions for us today. Could Will beat Riley Gaines? Definitely.
This is from yesterday.
Definitely not. Definitely not. She says, I think we need a swim contest. My money is on Riley. Well, yeah, I get odds. In fact, I get a handicapped. I get a handicap.
I don't think you need it. Riley only finished 5th in some of those races.
How is it? That's such bullshit. That's like Megan Rapinoe and all of them doing this. Riley actually sucked. She was 5th in the nation. I think she holds SEC records, right?
But in women's. So,
hey, do me a favor, Patrick. Will you do a quick? This is going to require you to produce. Will you look up Riley? I think Riley and I actually swam a similar event. Will you look up 100 fly and 100 free times for Riley? I think we did this on air one time. I asked her. I bet that's easily findable. What was her best time? And I'm going to bet I need a Riley. Well, now I'm way out of shape now. Oh, gosh. Now? But at my peak, I bet I would have needed 4 seconds. She needs to spot me 4 seconds in the 100 fly.
What about last year when you were doing the SEAL swim? You weren't.
No, it's different.
Ready to go then? Okay.
I was put together a little more back then. Yeah. Look that up. It's actually a good transition into to this. So Wade, I know you're a big WNBA fan. And so this is the newest in the WNBA.
He's watching the WNBA.
Right. What was Wade saying last time, that he couldn't interrupt his 162-game schedule of watching the Mariners to watch something? What was it? It was something great.
Well, they were, the Mariners, they were playing in Seattle. The U.S. men's team was playing in Seattle, and that was why the Mariners had a night off.
Yes.
And I should have done it because the Mariners were not playing, so I could have watched it. It was I was putting it on myself.
Couldn't watch the World Cup. Couldn't watch the World Cup because it's game 47 of the regular season of. It's actually game.
We're gonna get to 500. We're gonna get to 500.
And from Chevron, since 1879, their people have been more than a source of energy. They've been a source of progress, helping deliver record U.S. energy production and fueling the breakthroughs that move America forward. Learn more at chevron.com/250. So Dejanai Carrington, after getting thrown out of the game for her ridiculous foul on Sophie Cunningham, went to social media and claimed white privilege. To that, Emmanuel Acho basically pushed back and said you can't call everything white privilege. It undercuts the idea that so many have talked about. And then Dejanai went to X and responded to Emmanuel Acho. And here's what she said. She said, I never once claimed that the assessment of the foul was white privilege. That was your assumption. Try exercising your critical thinking skills. I know you studied psych. Furthermore, I'm the last thing from ignorant or asinine when it comes to speaking on white privilege. Do your research on that one. I actually went to school, one of the top universities, might I add, to educate myself on this exact subject. I would never use that term as a rhetorical weapon, knowing the historical and social weight it holds without having the proper evidence to substantiate it. So, in your face, Emmanuel. So, what I want to know is, then why were you posting white privilege in the locker room immediately after being ejected? What were you? What were you? Randomly sitting in the locker room having just been ejected, thinking about when you posted white privilege, and by the way, tagged the Indiana Fever.
I think we really need to.
Yeah, who knows what goes on in the
education
minds?
is in this country.
That is a fascinating thing. I think you've talked before about how the WNBA feels very 2020, feels like something that I thought we all set this aside, this kind of way of talking about white privilege constantly. But I think that the organization as a whole, this is not true of every athlete, but the organization as a whole kind of has a chip on its shoulder. You get the feeling that the organization itself feels entitled to, like, especially a lot of the players who are trying to advocate for equal money, that sort of thing. When you have an organization that's kind of has that chip on its shoulder, people are gonna be a lot more comfortable making these kinds of claims, even though they immediately back off of them.
It's just, she thinks we're all so stupid. Yeah. We're all so stupid. She went to Stanford, by the way. I think she married an African American, majored in African American studies.
Yeah. Well, this long tweet really makes me want to read all of her essays. I'm sure that they were great. Just beautiful essays.
Hey, back to Woke 1.0 for a minute. Wade, I saw this video. It's in everybody's algorithm, or at least it was in both Patrick and mine, of this dude interviewing this young lady about DEI and how it's actually racist. And it was a 10-minute long interview, but her mind, right? And she says something very similar in this interview as Dejanai Carrington. She says, I went to school for this. I studied this. I know what I'm talking about. Right, but the circular logic of what she was saying, like, she constantly played games of conflating the definition of equality and equity while saying they are different words. And when pressed on the difference and how they're applied, she would revert to, like, if you don't, kind of like the mentality of, if you don't know, I can't explain it to you. I studied this stuff. It's obvious. It's also obvious. And it got me thinking about 1.0 and AOC laughing it off. It's not a phase that we went through. It's going to have lasting impacts, and it already has had lasting impacts. But one of those is we have a period of about 8 or 9 years where students were indoctrinated, aka educated, in this type of stuff. And honestly, their thesis comes out like Dejanai Carrington right here. This is really dumb. Let's be blunt. This is stupid. This is stupid stuff dressed up as smart. And we have a whole group of people walking around in America now wearing the costume of education under which they are insufferably dumb. And they are now going to be put in positions of power. They are going to flood the workforce. They already have been. We know the impacts on Woke 1 when it comes to industry, education, and everything on its discrimination against white men. Several industries flat tanked because they went down this path. I read this really amazing synopsis of what the price we paid. I want to share it. It's a little long, but how under the banner of equity, we started to set spaces aside. We had affirmative action before equity, right? And affirmative action basically set aside about like 5%. And that was according to the logic of, for example, Ruth Bader Ginsburg and some Supreme Court decisions for representation. But equity moved it into, well, if you're 15% of the population, you should have 15% of the jobs and so forth. And it didn't take long for the colleges and the businesses to realize, oh, these people are not up to the task. This is not a meritocratic representation of anything. And We've talked about it for years. The quality of content went down coming out of Hollywood. The books being published went down. The students in schools' performance was objectively worse and testified to by professors. And we're going to live, my point is, with this. We've got an army of Dejanai Carringtons walking around out there in society now who wear their cap and gown as a sword and shield, and underneath which they're flaccid. They have no muscles. They have they're dumb.
I don't mind that we have a WNBA player who can't write a sentence or can't make an argument. I don't mind that, but I do mind it when it is in another industry. So in the medical industry, if somebody just walks into a room and all they can say is, I have a degree, then, and you should therefore yada, 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 like that, if that's your argument, and if the training is designed to not teach you how to think, not teach you how to operate, not teach you how to argue, but to teach you to sort of inherit a bunch of assumptions and then spit those back out with authority. Now I have a badge for all of these assumptions. Then yeah, I don't trust those people to maintain anything. The issue is America is built on a lot of complex systems. From the power grid, from the political system to the medical system, we have a lot of complex systems that need to be maintained and need to have some kind of credentialing service. So universities have served that purpose for a long time, and there are other ways of getting credentials for doing other kinds of jobs. But if you rot out the credentialing services, as we've been doing for decades and decades, then you rot out the complex systems that our entire existence is built on. And so, yes, if all somebody can do is say, excuse me, sir, it's like if somebody says, well, yes, your entire plumbing system is exploding that I put together with my team, but we all have certifications. Then it doesn't matter. I don't care what your certification is. You did a bad job. So again, this doesn't count quite as much in WNBA world, but when you get to any other kind of...
But even beyond that, Wade, I'm talking about people walking around voting. I'm talking about people walking around deciding the future of America. We dedicated a decade to creating these people, getting these educations, incapable of logic, incapable of it. Only doing circular logic, coming back on their own truisms over and over and over. And they walk around with moral authority, thinking they're the smart ones. And that's going to that's going to have a real impact for decades to come. Unless they grow out of it in some way. Look, it was crazy in the late 1960s, early 1970s. I see you shaking your head, Patrick. I thought about it this morning.
It's not going to go back.
I was trying to... I was in the shower thinking about this. I was like, okay, it was nuts in the 60s and 70s. It was nuts. And they were doing a lot of this same stuff. And then the Vietnam War ended, and then the 1980s happened. And they do say a lot of those crazy people became the yuppies of the 80s, right? I don't know. It could be two separate groups. But could they come back to sanity, I guess? Could they change? Are we here with them for the rest of our lives?
The demographics have changed.
Well, to your point, every degree basically serves as a smugness certificate. It's sort of like, this is my license to be smug. And what happened, I would summarize the end of the 60s, the migration of the 60s radicals differently, mainly because I think that you have a bunch of kind of the mass of people trying to slide into jobs that make sense and sort of cutting their hair, yada, yada. But the true believers, the radicals, were the people who infiltrated the university systems. Those are those are the people who trained the next generation. So it's yes, maybe a mass of people didn't, but they recognized that, okay, we need to get these people when they are, again, ready to be just sort of given certifications and a feeling of smugness. And that's the downstream result of the 60s. It didn't just dissipate. Some of it dissipated, but the center of it ended up in the universities. And that's one of the main reasons we ended up here we are.
You're totally right, dude. They taught these people. They're the ones that indoctrinated these people. They're Bill heirs to Barack Obama. That's what they are. Go ahead, Patrick.
Okay, and then in the night, so I thought about this a lot because we had two instances where I feel like something could have brought us together as a country, and that is the 1980 Miracle on Ice team, and then this recent U.S. gold medal team. And I said, why does this win not feel the same as like 1980? And I feel like the difference is the demographics of the country have changed to where you can't, the people don't have the same buy-in to the country, because like if you look at the demographics in the 1980s, you know, you could potentially just, it's all just about changing the mentality. But now you have people who don't really have the same buy-in to the country because they don't have the same connections. Again, like they don't have the same roots. And so I think that's why it's easier to kind of like keep the communism going, the socialism going. And that's why you're seeing more and more of the DSA kind of rising.
Okay. Scott King, working on the show here today, says he beat Patrick. So, right? Patrick. Let's see if Patrick beat him. Patrick, do you have Riley's times?
Yes.
Oh, I was going to say Scott beat you. I've got her 100 butterfly time.
I had it like in the first 10 seconds. So I was just waiting.
Oh.
So,
Okay.
yeah. Are you ready?
So, you know what my favorite thing is? When people end sentences in Texas, like if you go to an older generation, it's well. You know, if like say my mom, God, I hope this doesn't get back to her because it always does. She goes,
Make sure to clip this.
so and so said this and this, and I go, that's wrong. I talked to them. They didn't say that. Her response is, well. And then it's like, it's over. What can I do? She threw a well on me. It's over. Well. And Patrick did that with so. That's the younger version of it. I had it within the first 10 seconds. So. ...
So I actually have two different ones because you asked for two different ones. You asked for freestyle and butterfly, right?
Yeah.
So her
so you
best
beat Scott.
freestyle time is 47.88. I believe these are seconds. Are these seconds? I don't know.
What I say I was going to
hours,
need?
actually.
4 seconds?
Yeah.
I think my best 50 free time was in high school.
Was this 100 free?
I mean, 100 free was 51. I think I did a 51 something. So I was right 4 seconds. Now, I was a high schooler, Riley, so give me another 3 years of training. You know, you got that extra 3 or 4 years in college. So
She's also got, 25 years on you? So, more training.
Right. Times get faster. That's right. That's right. What was good in the 90s is not good in the 2020s. That's the way it works in track
You have these
and
mental
swimming.
blockages
So,
there, that kind of thing. Those things got torn down by the time she swam. For 100
and her 100
butterfly,
fly time?
that was her best individual time is listed as 53.57.
Scott had 54. 53.57.
On November 20th, 2020,
I believe
during the height of woke.
my fastest 100 fly time in high school was 55. Don't think I got into the 54s. Maybe. But once again, she was faster than me. As a collegiate swimmer in the 2020s.
I feel like the butterfly was probably the easier one. Why do you go slower with the butterfly?
Oh, no.
I feel like if you're doing
freestyle's the fastest.
free, you have to bring your arm up and everything.
Yeah, you're a real swimmer.
I don't
butterfly.
swim.
You bring both arms up at the same time. Do you know what butterfly looks like?
No, I don't.
That's
apparently
breaststroke.
not.
This is breast.
Oh,
this is breaststroke.
See,
Underwater.
I'm thinking that's got to be way faster.
Butterfly is like take freestyle, right? This is freestyle, and do both arms at the same time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's tough.
And that will destroy your shoulders. That will destroy everything. This is the hardest stroke in terms of cardio, muscle, fatigue, all that. It's an ass beating butterfly. But that was my stroke. I loved it because I was kind of a badass. Well,
it's toxic, Will. Toxic.
but now I'm not. Now I'm not. Now I'm a badass on the padel court. So, and bumper pool. Thank you, Ed. My bumper pool, fellas, just for the record, Can you admit this, Ed? It's taken another level. I've leveled up. We're now playing for money in the office, and it's sad. We are playing for money, and I've emptied their pockets. And I'm hitting shots. I don't even think that Minnesota Fats knew these shots existed. I'm doing things on the bumper pool table that are blowing guys' minds away at this point. I've got this one shot I got to show you. Anyway, I feel
You'll
attacked
never be able to hustle
because
anybody
my current.
after this.
That's true. Well, yeah.
Keep it on the DL, bud.
So I feel attacked though because Charles Barkley is really going after at least one racket sport. Here's Charles Barkley on pickleball.
There's not a lot you can do when you get old. And that's something you two gonna be able to do when he gets older. I mean, like, you can't go play basketball. No. I mean, and let me tell you something. They got this stupid thing going around called pickleball, which is the way old people out here are getting hurt all the time.
Yeah, it's like tennis.
My doctor friends have said pickleball is the gift that keeps giving.
Yeah.
Because all these old people are killing themselves and hurt all the time. My doctor friends are in heaven right now. Pickleball is the gift that keeps giving.
He's I feel a little attacked. I'm not a pickleballer. I mean, I will play some pickleball, and it's really fun. He called it plastic tennis in that same clip. But I think, Charles, what do you want everybody to do? Sit? What do you want old people to do? Maybe he went on to say, you can't play basketball. He did say that. You're going to blow out an ACL and an Achilles playing basketball. I know plenty of dudes that have done that. So what do? Neither of you guys are that old. Patrick is prematurely geriatric. But
yeah.
You're not that old, so what can you do when you get old? Pickleball is the best answer. It's the best answer.
Yeah, I mean, I will have a different perspective on this. I'd say, Charles Barkley, thank you so much. Finally going after old people. What's his target?
Finally, somebody is going after old people.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off. He's going
old
into
people
my
trying to be healthy. Thank you, Charles Barkley.
Literally writing a book on it.
You're writing a book on pickleball?
No, on boomers.
Yeah, this is your beat.
Yes. He's weaseling in on me, on my beat.
You feel like boomers are the downfall of the American civilization? See, different. Wade says it's women. If we'd never given women the right to vote, then America would have been
I didn't say
Patrick,
this.
you say...
Words in my mouth.
You didn't, Wade?
The Venn diagram between me and Wade.
My mistake. Patrick says it's the boomers.
Female boomers. Come together.
I
No
want the
offense,
chat
Betty.
mad at everybody. Everybody.
We love our women, folks. We love our women.
It's weird, all the guys we've got on this show. Wade says it's the women. Patrick says it's the boomers. Ed says it's the Mexicans. It's like... What are we going to do?
Yeah, diversity. That's diversity. There's diversity of ideas.
It is diversity, right? For the record, if you want to clip it, Ed is Mexican, so what are you going to do? And Wade's a woman. Wade's trans. Yeah. So keep coming, keep trying. Like I said, Patrick's prematurely geriatric, so everybody's shooting inside their own tent here.
You hate who you are.
Thank you.
What are you going to do? All right. Wade, I want to give you a call. Thanks for being on the show with us here today. Check out The Wade Show with Wade. Wade Stotts.
Genuine pleasure. Thank you
Great
so much.
Stuff.
See you, bud. All right, there goes Tinfoil Pat as well, and the extremely stressed out Justin. That's going to do it for us today here on Will Cain Country. We will see you again next time.
No, it's not. Do it. No.
Yeah, it is. Bye.